Hi folks, I'm Claiborne Davis. I've just been watching some of today's news events, today being Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. Today's news event about the new iPhone by Apple as well as the new Apple Watch, which is supposed to come out in sometime in 2015. From an anatomical perspective, if you're all sort of attuned to sort of the dysfunction that technology can actually bring into posture, you might have heard of, where's my phone, something called texting neck, where you see people doing this all the time. If you're constantly holding your head in this kind of position, that can start to cause some problems in your neck and pretty much all your back muscles, I would say. But I was also thinking, and I actually tweeted about this recently, that with the advent of the Apple Watch, that people will be doing this, probably just as much as this, right? So if you are at all familiar with anatomical terms, and if you're not, here you go. Right now my shoulder is flexed and internally rotated. Normally with flexion, internal rotation is not the most stabilizing position. You know, something like this would be better, and that's kind of what you try to do when you're weight bearing and you try to get stability in your shoulders, such as downward dog in yoga. So if you are a future buyer of this watch or any electronic device, I'm sure there'll be competitors, and you find yourself holding your arm like this all the time, because I imagine holding it, the joints optimally positioned, externally rotated and flexed, that would cause dysfunction in your arm. If you, in your neck probably, if you try to look at your watch like that all the time. So a couple ways you can try to stave off some problems that may start to creep into your shoulders is to do some work with the yoga tune-up balls. These are the alphas. You can get them as a single one or two. These are the pluses, a little bit smaller. And then here's the original, which is the smallest of all. I only have one right there. If you don't have any of those, you could use a tennis ball. I have lots of these because I play tennis. If you don't have any of those, find something that would maybe do an equally good job. So nothing really earth-shattering here in terms of ball techniques if you're at all familiar with the Yoga Tune-Up library of self-care. But if you're not, here you go. I'm using an alpha ball right on my external rotators of my shoulder. If you feel on the back of your shoulder for this diagonal ridge of bone, that's called the spine of the scapula, ball goes just underneath it, and it's a pretty big ball, about the size of a grapefruit, so it covers a lot of that surface. Plant yourself into the wall here, right? And then you can take your arm into what I call the I solemnly swear position, as if I solemnly swear to have no rotator cuff pain or discomfort. Sorry about just noticed this on the camera, my sweaty armpit. It is early September in New Orleans, and we have about 2,000% humidity all the time. So then from this position, right, with that ball in place, you're trying to shear apart some of the tension. Oops, and I'm getting some clicking just from doing that. Hopefully it's working to remedy some things. It could also be a sign of instability. I actually did tweak this shoulder a few years ago. Oops. About to lose my visual there, and I have my computer plugged in. Something else you could do is imagine that you're screwing in a light bulb. Feel free to insert how many yoga tune-up practitioners or yoga practitioners does it take to screw in a light bulb. I don't have an answer. You can also start to roll along the top of that bony shelf of the shoulder blade. Right? These are just suggestions. Nothing is definitive as a pain eraser. Can't make any guarantees of eradicating pain, but maybe lessening it somewhat. If you have two of these alpha balls, and you have a corner that you can get yourself into, you can actually take one ball on kind of each side of or in two positions on the deltoid, or maybe still partially on the rotator cuff. This is when I wish I had a camera on the wall itself to kind of look through the wall so you can actually see what I'm doing. But, oops, just lost one. That can happen periodically. And by the way, I'm just using these alpha balls because they're They cover more territory. You can use the small ones if you want. And then you can just kind of go to town. You can do this little shrugging of your shoulder blade maneuver, or shrugging of your shoulder maneuver. The shoulder blade is moving as you do that. Move the arm, right, pinning it in place and then moving it around. Or come up with something entirely on your own. Anyway, those are a few suggestions. Hope you have a good day. Happy texting. Maybe try that up here, holding your phone. Or when you have your watch, right, I don't know if it doesn't hurt you to externally rotate, you can look at it like that. Thanks very much. Have a great day or evening.